things together, and we'll get this started as well. So again, just to reintroduce myself, so my name's Chris Blackburn. My role here as the head of sales at Service.com.au is helping thousands of Australians across the country, and also trades and service providers as well, such as cleaners, electricians, and builders across the country. The purpose around this session today is really on the best practices when we're communicating with our clients as well. I think over the years, we've found very many ways of what works and what doesn't work well. And I guess why we're doing this session today is since, the pandemic and COVID, we've found that millions of people across the country are using online platforms, more and more to find a local service provider that they can trust as well. So what we want to do is just make sure that we're communicating the value of our products and services as well, and making sure that we're building value with these customers as well. I hope you don't mind, just in the chat section for me, just to start with, what would you say at the moment is the most common objection that you're currently receiving? So when you're responding to the customers, what are you finding is the most common objection in the service? We've just had Tyler drop through as well. Hey, Tyler, thank you for dropping in. So just in the chat section for us as well, what we're doing with the guys just dropping into the session now is just dropping in your location where you're based in Australia, and also the trade or the service that you provide as well. So if your chat's working, please, Tyler, if you could drop that in as well, and everybody else just dropping into the session, if you could drop that in as well. Awesome. And also, if you can grab a pen and paper, make sure that we're taking as many notes as we can. As a provider, we're finding a lot of people are now using platforms. There's businesses going out, starting by themselves. The trade and the services as an industry is absolutely booming at the moment. So we know it's a great opportunity for businesses. So the purpose on this session today is making sure, as a company and as potential new customers, that we're maximizing every single opportunity that we're faced. So as a business, we're always consistently facing new leads coming into the business. Tyler's an electrician in Sydney. Pleasure to have you with us today as well. So what we're going to run through is just making sure that every job lead, whether it's on Service.com.au, whether it's through Facebook, whether it's through Google AdWords, whether it's through word of mouth, whatever marketing channels that you're using, we want to make sure that we're maximizing every single opportunity. So for myself personally, again, my role and my experience over the last 15 years helping companies like the Gyms Group, even in other roles with Mercedes-Benz and Mega Sealed across the country, is the same process every single time. So in the chat section, I'd love for people to start dropping in there. What's the first thing that people buy? So when you're speaking with a customer, what are they buying? Just pop that in the chat section for me. Yeah, so your company, your product, people, there we go. So that's exactly right. So people buy people. That's the first thing that I'd get you to write down. So there's 5 common reasons why people typically don't do business with somebody. That's either the time, the need, the money, the urgency, or trust. So again, I'll explain. So either the time, the need of the product or service, the money, the urgency, or the trust. So as business owners, as sales professionals, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but we all are in sales. We're all communicating through to the end user. Is how do we communicate the value? Okay, so what we're going to break this session up into is 3 fundamental parts of how we raise value. Now, we understand in the market, dealing with public, dealing with business to business, that you're always going to get people that are price driven for a product or service. I totally respect that. They typically say, how much is it for this? How much is it to come and have my switchboard done? How much would it be to come out and clean a 3-bedroom property every fortnight? We understand that you're going to get the people, but I promise you, in my experience, and I'm sure yours running a business as well, not every single person is a price driven individual. Some people are looking for quality, some people are looking for the speed of the service, or some people just want a cheap product into their business or to their home as well. Okay, so just with the notes, what I'd like you to write down is there's 3 key fundamental areas that people buy regardless of the product or service, whether it's a car, whether it's in retail, whether it's in the trades and service industry. It really boils down to the 3 fundamental areas. And I forgot who put that in the chat section as well. The first thing that people buy is you. So people buy people. So how do we sell ourselves? That's the question. So again, I'd love in the chat section, what are some areas that you can sell or you can communicate the value of what you do as an individual? So what are the key fundamental areas? And then hopefully we can run through some practical aspects that's really going to assist you to make sure that we're maximizing the conversion of the leads that we're receiving into our business. Exactly right. Who you are, what you do, exactly. So the first thing I'd get everybody to write down, if you're taking notes, if you're obviously not driving as well, is to master your winning first impression. So over a phone, if this is how we're dealing with the customer when we're first accepting them, we have less than 2 seconds to make a winning first impression. The price, exactly right. So people have the perceived value around price, right? We understand that, you know, price is very important. We understand that money's, you know, what makes the world go round as well. But in my experience, not every person is out there for a cheap price. And I'm sure, I think it was Tyler that just dropped that in there. I'm sure in your experience that you've had people that's gone, hey mate, how much is it to have 3 PowerPoints, 4 downlights and have some LEDs fitted into my property? And then let's say, hypothetically speaking, that your price was too expensive. They may have gone to a different provider for a cheaper service, let's say. And unfortunately, Tyler, then they give you a call back a week later and say, hey, mate, we've just reached out to yourself. Unfortunately, we've gone with another company because we thought they were going to be cheaper. But unfortunately, in the nicest way, they've actually stuffed up the job. How soon can you get out to fix that job? A quick why in the chat, if that's ever happened to either any of you before, would be much appreciated as well. So we understand, there you go, straight away, yeah. So this is our job as sales professionals, as business owners, to make sure that we do the ethical thing of ensuring that the customer understands that not everything is around the cheap price, just on that particular objection right there as well. So the first thing is, with any communication, is mastering your winning first impression. And there's something that we call pace-paced lead, which is basically where we're always a little bit more enthusiastic than the customer that we're speaking to. We understand that we may not have had the world's greatest days. We understand that things may have gone wrong. But if we're speaking to a potential new customer of ourselves, the first thing that I would highly recommend is that we don't judge the customer based on the day that we're having. Always be a little bit more enthusiastic or bringing up the emotion of the customer. So if they're having an okay day, you're having a good day. If they're having a good day, you're having a great day. If they're having a great day, you're having an amazing day. Does that make sense? So what I want you to do is start really thinking of how you're making that winning first impression on that particular lead. Okay. What I want to do is make sure that this is very engaging as well. So please feel free at any point when we're looking to sell ourselves, if there's any questions, just drop them into the chat section as well. Okay. Now, the second thing that I think we'd obviously want to cover as well is that there's 2 different things that we communicate. We either communicate a feature or we communicate the benefit of what that feature would do. Now, in my experience, anybody that buys a feature of a product isn't really creating the value of what that could actually do. Now, we're 15 minutes into this session, so I do want to rattle through as much as we can. We'll make sure there's a recording that can come out as well. But whenever you're communicating the value of who you are and what you do, explain the benefit of what that means to the customer. So let's say back to Tyler's point around the price. If you're having a price-driven inquiry, let's say, let's make sure that we're understanding how we can then overcome that to be able to explain what our company, and that's the next thing that we sell. The first thing is you as the business, and the next thing is the company and the organization that you either own or that you represent. Okay. So what we want to do is make sure that we're selling the benefit of what that would mean. So let's say, for example, Tyler, you've been an electrician for the last 25 years. Okay. Now, 25 years is a fantastic, time within an industry as well. But unfortunately, people don't understand what the benefit or what the value of 25 years of experience would be. So if you're receiving somebody that says, hey, I just want, can you come out and do this for $1,000? And you understand as a business, it's going to be a minimum of $3,000. We want to make sure that we communicate that to say, I totally respect where you're coming from, but as a business in the last 25 years that I've been servicing people across Sydney, one thing that I've found is the service that we deliver is not just based on the price that we offer. Okay, so we want to make sure that we're handling that to be able to explain the value of what we do. Does that all make sense? Just a quick why in the chat. Awesome, beautiful. Thank you, Ria, as well. Now, once we've obviously made that winning first impression, the next thing we need to be making sure that we're doing is that we're asking the right questions and building that level of rapport with the customer. Okay, so we really want to get an understanding of what they're looking for, how soon they're wishing to get their service provided, what have they been looking at in the time that they've been searching for this particular trade or service. What kind of business are they looking to engage with? What level of service do they require? What type of products are they looking for? So asking the right questions to really understand the type of consumer that you're dealing with. Okay, so if, for example, with the cleaner, Ria, we want to make sure that we're asking questions such as how frequently would you like the cleaning job to be completed? Okay, would you require the carpets to be done? I'm sure these are very basic and fundamental questions that you're asking as well, but understanding the why behind why somebody may need that particular service will help you then raise the value in the products and service that you deliver. Okay. Cool. Any questions, please feel free to drop them in. Or simply just put your hand up and I can unmute if anybody wants to ask that as well. Okay. Now, the next thing what I want to touch on is once you've sold yourself, okay, so the first key fundamental is how you make the winning first impression and how the potential new customer or even existing customer buys you as the person, or even potentially your staff that's communicating with them as well. The next thing is to sell your company. Now, one of the most powerful things to sell or communicate the value of what your company would do would be through third-party stories. Okay, so through third-party stories. We kind of touched on that example previously there of just explaining what people have done or how you've assisted people over the years as well. Okay, and again, going back into not selling the feature, but more the benefit of what that has done. Okay, so a third-party story. Now then, looking at a company on how we look at our follow-up, it sounds crazy, but 98% of sales or people that move forward with yourself may not be on the first interaction. So assuming that somebody's just going to give you a call and book you straight in, they're what we call your buyers. They're the people that just needed your service yesterday. Okay. So what we want to make sure that we're doing is that we're understanding the customer that we're dealing with, but more importantly, what are the follow-up strategies that you've got? Again, I don't want to just give you all the what's. I want to start thinking of some practical how-tos and how we can start following up with our clients more effectively. So just have a bit of a think or a brainstorm once we get off this session is how are you following up with your customers? Is it through phone? Is it through text message? Is it through voicemail? Is it through voice message? Is it through social media? Like how many ways are you touching base with your clients? One thing that we recommend for all of our customers is having templates set within your account. Again, rolling into third-party stories. I actually spoke to one of my clients today who's been on our platform for 2 weeks. Now, he's already made a full return off of his investment. And one of the 5-star reviews that he actually received on his account today was for a job that he never even serviced. He couldn't provide a level of service through to that customer, but what he was able to do was go above and beyond and refer that customer into the correct trades provider that would be able to help them with their job. Now, as a stab in the dark, I'm assuming the fact that next time that customer may need a service that he could offer, there's a likelihood that he's going to receive that contact. We all know that word of mouth is the best way for us to convert more work, referrals. So how can we generate more referrals and how can we follow up with our clients in that sort of way? So just a bit of a think of how we're following up with the customers and not expecting the decision on the first interaction. It would be an ideal world. I totally respect that. But if we can start thinking of different ways of how we can effectively follow up with our customers, you're going to find that a lot more people that are engaging through text message, through, calling you back are going to be the people that you'd wish to deal with as well. Cool. Is this all making sense so far? Just to confirm, just a quick why in the chat would be fantastic as well. And that's great, thank you. And then also looking at how this is affecting the competition. So what makes you stand out? Is it your experience? Is it your customer service? Is it your workmanship? Is it making sure you go above and beyond, like understanding how this can all communicate through to the client? Hopefully this is answering the early objection that we had around price. Once people start building this up, this is what we're looking for. We've just got something from Tyler here. So a message or email re-explaining the conversation, cost, what's involved, and guarantees. Exactly right. And understanding what the need of the customer is, Tyler, just going back to what our job is on the first thing when we're selling ourselves, asking the right and effective questions will understand which one of them things that you've just dropped in there, because they're all fantastic ways to follow up. But what's important to the customer? Are we asking that question? You know, what is important to you with the service that you've just reached out for? What is it you're looking for? And then when you know that, you'll be able to then really drop into, is a guarantee required? Because a lot of companies and a lot of businesses or consumers may require a guarantee with the workmanship you're going to do. So absolutely agree with you with that one. Perfect. Any other questions on that? Then when we're doing the templates as well, so there's 3 things that we really help trades companies across the country do. Thank you, Tyler. There's a lot of areas that we help, but it falls into 3 main areas. And again, this is where I'd really recommend that you start creating some templates that you can start building this up, is an online reputation, an online exposure, and simply generating more work. So how can you as a business start creating more of an online exposure, generating more reviews, getting more repeat referral business? And I promise you, in the experience of doing this across many industries as well, the value is in the follow-up. So if you can start thinking of some really effective ways of how you can consistently follow up with your potential prospects, that's what's really going to generate more referrals coming back into your business too. Okay. Now, in regards with the job leads, I guess the last thing really to touch on that with a company, and having done this for a while now, I can't stress this enough. Please, please, please do not judge the job lead or the job information that you receive. Again, falling back into a third-party story, I have a property maintenance business based out of Sydney as well, Tyler as well. The job that he received was to replace 2 cupboard doors for this customer. Okay. Now, because we have a very even spread of businesses on the platform, so we don't oversaturate the area, he was the only person that responded to this customer. Okay. Now, just so you're aware, these 2 were cupboard doors that needed replacing, turned into a full renovation. It turned into over $12,500 of work over a certain amount of time. Now, I'm assuming a lot of businesses would look at this, let's say, hey, I just need a cleaner out once as a one-off for a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment. We may look at that and think, it's a couple of $100, it's $300 as well. Little do we know, if we just contact that lead, make the winning first impression, explain the company, the guarantees we offer, the service that we provide as well, how that could potentially turn into such larger jobs. This could be then your referral client. This could be your repeat business. You could go above and beyond and service that customer and they say, wow, I actually thought we only needed a one-off cleaner. Ria, could you please come out every single week? And not only can you come out every week as well, we have another 3 neighbors on the same street that need your service as well. If you have a business card, I'll drop it in their door and ask them to reach out to you. I can't stress it enough. Please, please, please do not judge the lead. And I totally respect, now and again, you will get them job leads that may not be the biggest revenue generator, okay? But it is worth the time and it is worth the energy. And I'm sure in your experience, you'll be able to understand the customer when you're speaking to them as well. But if you receive a job through an app, if you receive a text message, an email, and it doesn't look like it is the biggest job in the world, just give that job 60 seconds and see what it potentially can turn into. Because I've seen $100 turn into $10,000 very, very fast. And that's just by doing the right thing by the client and touching base with them, okay? Especially when I don't get a lot of information, don't want to waste time on people shopping around. Tyler, I totally, totally respect that as well. I guess if we're taking notes as well, probably the best thing I'd sort of explain for that is putting yourself in the customer's shoes. The hardest thing to do when we're looking to make revenue, generate a sale, generate an extra customer is wanting, I wouldn't say through a lack of impatience, but wanting the job to be exactly what we're looking for. We want the perfect client, right? But by ensuring that we understand and putting ourselves in the customer's shoes that they may be at work, they may not have time to take pictures of the job or write a full description of the job. They just need an electrician to come out for an emergency job tomorrow. Little do we know what that potentially could be. And again, it could be, you know, a $50 job for a 20-minute drive. And I totally respect that that may not be the type of jobs that you're looking for as well. But in this day and age, the more people we're speaking to, the more we're communicating the value of who we are and the company that we represent, the higher the conversion rate. And I promise you now, not every single customer is price driven out there. Yes, there's going to be people shopping around. There's people going into Coles and they looking for the yellow sticker because they want 2 for $5 instead of 1 for $3 because they want to save $1. I totally get that there are people out there, but not every consumer is like that as well. So give everybody the level of attention that they require, and let's see how you can turn them smaller jobs by going above and beyond and going out and servicing them to see what that can potentially turn into for your business as well. Okay. Now, we are running sort of very short of time, and I feel like I'm talking like a horse racing commentator. So I want to try and wrap this session up as well. But the last thing that people buy is the products and service. Now, that doesn't disregard the products and service that you deliver. It has a high amount of value. But please start breaking down in the company, and the product. What are the features? So what's the features of your product? What does it do? And then what does the benefit of that mean to that customer? Okay. How do we paint the picture of what that benefit would do? As opposed to saving $100, what's the benefit to the customer of deciding to move forward with your product? What's the difference between the two? What have you seen over the years? What third-party stories can you explain, and what benefits and what outcomes is available for the customer by investing in your product and service? Now, respecting 30 minutes, we're certainly not going to be able to come up with 25 features of you, the company, and the products and services you offer, and 25 benefits. But if you can take 30 minutes where you go away with that, not everybody buys the same feature. I just want to be clear with that. You know, somebody may want to go in and buy an Apple computer. I'm not the most technically gifted guy in the world. Ria knew that. I was muted for the first few minutes of the session today. But I'm not going in to buy my new computer because of the speed of the computer or the RAM or whatever it is, you know. I just need something that turns on, that looks good, that can actually be used well. So if somebody asks me the right question of what I'm looking for, then they're not selling me the wrong feature. Does that make sense? So once you start understanding what the customer is looking for, you'll be able to sell the right features based on that you can deliver on that need to the client, and be able to then generate the benefit out of the back of that. All good. Now, just to sort of put a bow around our session today, I guess let's paint the picture of how people are responding to consumers online these days. We know since COVID-19 that millions of people now are using online platforms like Service.com.au to find a local trades provider that they can trust. Now, once a job comes in, let's say, again, going back to our point that the job looks really small, you've got two traders, okay, or trades and service providers. You've got the A provider that responds with $350. You've got the other provider that introduces themselves, sells their company, explains what they've done over the years, explains how good their products and services are in the market. To Tyler's point, they recommend their guarantees, they show the workmanship that they do. Again, it's a silly question, but if you was the customer, please put it in the chat as well. Would you select tradie A or trade and service A, or would you go with B if you was the customer? Now, if your answer is B, then please start communicating in that way to the customer. Start asking the right and effective questions. Start understanding the needs and the wants and the desires of the client as well. I'm so glad you put B, Tyler. Thank you for doing that as well. But do you know what I mean? This is what people do, right? People buy people. Today, we've just come on here to hopefully offer a level of value in the market. We believe that people are inundated with work. Our hardest thing at the moment as a business is finding good quality tradespeople to respond to customers to do the job. There is that much work out there as well. But I promise you, if you go that extra step, that extra mile, do that extra little bit of value, you're going to increase your conversion rates, you're going to increase your average transaction sale, and ultimately you're going to drive healthy revenue into your business as well. Okay. Now, if any of that was helpful, fingers crossed it was, or you would like, yes, beautiful. And if you would like some further information, please feel free to reach out. My email address is chris@service.com.au. So chris@service.com.au. If there's anything that we can do off the back of this session that would assist personalizing any of this content for your business, if you believe that it can help you help more customers and offer your products and service to more clients, please feel free to reach out. We'll definitely be in touch. We'll be able to hopefully assist you and your company as well. But more importantly, thank you for sharing 30 minutes of your any templates, examples. Please drop me an email, Tyler, with what sort of templates you're looking for, and I'll be more than happy to help as well. But more importantly, thank you for sharing 30 minutes. I hope that was helpful. Again, my name is Chris. Please feel free to reach out anytime as well. We'll be back on for a next session in 2 weeks, okay? And we'll be delivering more content on how we can offer value in the marketplace that we're in of the trades and service industry as well. I really appreciate your evening tonight, and thank you again.